So we arrived 10 miles up the road from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana, as we're excuse me, as we are here today at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, Indiana. As we mentioned, a multi-purpose facility. This is a 0.686 mile oval track theater that sits right next to the drag strip home in the NHRA U.S. Nationals, the greatest drag race in the world. But today we're focused in on the oval track version of this track, as we're here today for 60 laps of racing. On the pole, it's Dylan Young in number 2. He qualified at 112 miles per hour. He's alongside Roberto Crown Jr. in truck number 8. Both have yet to win this season. Second row is Phil Parker in number 3 and number 19, Rob Evans in the Ineos Motor Oil Toyota. Third row sees number 24. It is Nathan Orman. He's alongside number 16, Nathan Hudson, a pair of Nathans in that row. Next row is number 74, James Sykes, and number 88, Keith Badson, the Menards Ford. Paul Minnick and number 00 and 40, John Andrews has the next row down here, a pair of Chevrolets in that row. Next row down is Kyle Matthews in 44 and Brad Stover coming off a top 10 finish at the Brickyard at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in number 15. He starts outside, a good qualifying run for the number 15 team. Next row is number 11, Mitchell Collins, and number 98, Kat Badson. Kat has one of her 3 in-truck cameras in today's race. Next row is Matt Haas, number 18, and number 7, Ashlyn Boyd. Next row, number 21, Cole Deaver, and number 51, Laura Chung. Next row is Carson Gunn, who had a dominant run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, only to fall short, owing to fall back in the late going of that race. Bale Moscow shares that row with him in number 13. Next row down has number 23, Stephen Colon, and number 29, Johnny Gardner, the Cooper Standard Ford. Next row down is number 6, Quentin Moore, who nearly won that race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, only to get passed on the last lap by Daniel Bouchard. He's alongside Pedro Lucas in number 17. Next row down has the aforementioned Daniel Bouchard, number 87 truck. He won that race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's alongside Seth Cole, who has our second in-truck camera in the Liberty University Toyota. Next row is number 4, William Brock in the Mobile 1 Toyota, and number 33, Jacob Thibodeau. Next row down has Zachary Fitzwater in 68, and number 10, Joshua Osborne. Next row down has number 75, Jesse Turner, and number 38, Scott Upton. Then it's Matt McIntyre, number 52, and beside him, number 45, Diego Yepes. And starting shotgun the field will be number 54, Kev Shearer. And our third in-truck camera will ride inside the pole-sitting truck of Dylan Young. So as the 35 trucks line up for today's race here, for today's Pizza Hut Truck Series race here comes the command to fire the engines for today's short track race at Indy.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Command given to fire the engines as we get some racing here today and as the pace truck leads the field for the pace lap. We'll be back for the start right after this. Pace truck leading coming on the pit road here, and the field being led in the hands of Roberto Crown Jr., the outside pole sitter, and Dylan Young, the pole sitter for this race here. As the green flag flies, we're underway 60 laps of short track trucking racing here at Indianapolis. Off turn number 4 they come here. Dylan Young will lead the first lap of this race here as everybody makes it through okay. Second place is now Phil Parker, and trying to force second place is Phil Parker, number 3, 8 truck of Roberto Crown Jr. Battle for fourth going on between Rob Evans and Nathan Ormond, the 19 and the 24 trucks as they come through turns number 3 and 4 now. Chevy on the low side, Toyota on the high side here. You got Chevrolet sweeping the top 4 spots right now so far. Actually make that running for the top 5 spots, I should say. Ormond was clocked 5th the last time by here alongside Rob Evans. And Dylan Young has already pulled out to a very substantial lead right now over second place Phil Parker. Dylan Young's got a very strong truck in the number 2 machine as he keeps the truck there nailed to the bottom of the racetrack here as they come off the second turn. There's Parker in second position. Roberto Crown Jr. giving Phil a challenge here, and now Nathan Orman takes fourth away from Rob Evans. They come off the fourth corner. Evans running in fifth position, sixth position. Battle for sixth between James Sykes and Nathan Hudson, the 74 and the 16 trucks. Paul Minnick down the low side here. John Andrews and the 40 truck trying to give his Nice Motorsports teammate Kyle Matthews a run for here, the 40 and the 44 trucks. And Andrews moves Matthews up the track here as they come through 1 and 2 right now. Keith Batson trying to go to the low side here. Brad Stover in the 15 truck right there behind them. And Batson, I thought was going to try to stick it in the middle and go 3 wide, but that would not have been a smart move right there. Matthews makes the high line working to his advantage as they go through turns 1 and 2 now. And Matthews will take the lead, or not take the lead, take 9th position, excuse me. As Dylan Young still leads the race right now here. Cole Deaver in 21, he comes in this race the points leader coming in here to this race here at Indianapolis as they go into turn number 1 now. Mitchell Collins getting around the 98 truck of Cat Batson. There's Quentin Moore, the 6 truck, moving up to the field quickly here, as is the 87 of Daniel Bouchard. We saw those two battle it out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway about 10 miles west of Lucas Oil Raceway, or 10 miles east, I should say, of Lucas Oil Raceway. Lucas Oil Raceway, of course, from what I remember here, is more located along the quiet side of Indianapolis here, whereas the Speedway is located near downtown Indianapolis. So, but there is Quentin Moore as he leads Carson Gum and Daniel Bouchard here. Quentin running 17th, 18th is Gum, and 19th is Bouchard. Bouchard, with his win, actually moved up in the second place in the points coming out of that race at Indianapolis, by the way, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So he is having a plenty darn good season so far in the 87 machine as we watch William Brocky's in 20th position right now. 21st is Stephen Colon. 22nd is Ashland Boyd, in the 7 machine. 23rd is Zachary Fitzwater. 24th is Jesse Turner. 25th is Laura Chung. 26th is Matt McIntyre. Bale Moscow running 27th. 28th is Pedro Lucas. 29th is Kev Shearer. 30th, right now, it's Johnny Gardner as he gets past Joshua Osborne for position. And there is Seth Cole, not making much headway in the number 9 machine as you go on board Seth Cole's machine. He runs 32nd right now, so he's still caught up in the high side trying to follow Johnny Gardner in the number 29 machine. And Gardner takes position away. That is 30th he just took from Osborne. But Joshua not giving up in the number 10 truck as he gets past Seth Cole in the number 9 machine. Is now they all line up to the inside lane of the 17 of Pedro Lucas. As we continue to ride along with Seth Cole, he now moves inside of Osborne, catches Osborne up on the high side of the track here through turns 1 and 2, and now Seth in his Toyota and Joshua in the Chevrolet duel it out for position. Dylan Young continues to lead this race, by the way, here at Indianapolis at the Lucas Oil Raceway. So Seth up to 31st position now as they go through turns number 1 and 2 once again. Again, the 51 of Laura Chung leading this bunch of trucks. Actually, that's not Laura Chung. That's Kev Shearer in the 54, the Anthony Alfredo truck leading this pack of trucks here. Then it's Pedro Lucas in the 17, Johnny Gardner and Seth Cole battle it out for position. That's for 29th. Actually, scratch that. Make that 30th position, here, as Johnny takes 30th away from Seth. And now he's caught up on the high side again. Osborne goes low. So does Diego Yepes in the 45. Thibodeau and Scott Upton both bring up the rear of the pack here. But Phil Parker, by the way, is closing up on Dylan Young for the lead here as we're now working on the 18th lap of this race here. 17 laps in the books and 43 to go here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Third still Roberto Crown Jr. Now under the clutches of Nathan Orman in the 24 and the number 19 of Rob Evans. So they got Chevy sweeping the top 4 spots right now with a Toyota in 5th position. So as of right now, it's Chevy's in the top 4 spots, then Toyota 5th, a Chevy in 6th, a Toyota 7th, then a Chevy's 8th, 9th, and 10th. So, and of course, the manufacturer's breakdown here in this series: 16 Chevrolets, 10 Toyotas, and 9 Fords in the field. But let's check the interval and see what. Check the interval here and see what the margin is between Young and Parker. It was 0.6 of a second the last time between those front 2 trucks. Parker now goes by and lost a little bit of ground that time. Almost 0.7 of a second between the 2 and the 3 trucks right now. Parker has not yet won this season. That actually I might correct. No. Yeah, Parker has not yet won this season in number 3 machine in the Pizza Hut Truck Series as they come off the second corner right now. But he is trying to close up on Dylan Young. He was a little bit further behind than he was the last early in this race here as they come off the 4th turn now. 69 hundredths of a second was the last time by. This time by he's close up to 66 hundredths of a second. In the meantime, here comes Nathan Orman to the low side in the 24 truck, looking for 3rd position now on Roberto Crown Jr. And Evans is going to go with Orman as they go through turns number 3 and 4, and give 3rd position to Nathan Orman in that blue and white 24. And Roberto not giving up here as he tries to move back inside of Orman and thinking I don't like what you did there, Nathan, and he goes come off the second turn. Meantime, Rob Evans trying to figure out a way around that black and yellow number 8. Off the 4th turn they come here, so Orman now takes 3rd position away. James Sykes there, he is in the 74 truck. He runs in 6th position. 7th is Nathan Hudson, the winner at Colorado National Speedway a few races ago. The little 3/8 mile short track. Where that track will be back on the schedule next season in Pizza Hut trucks. Paul Minnick runs in 8th position. 9th is still Kyle Matthews, and 10th is John Andrews in the 40 truck, being chased by the 88 of Keith Batson. Batson is the leading Ford in the field right there, and so no Fords in the top 10 though, but the leading Ford right now is in 11th position, so it's not far away from that top 10 spot. And Batson appears to be closing up a little bit on the 40 truck of John Andrews as they go through turns 1 and 2 again here. Nice Motorsports versus Thorsport Racing here. Actually, that truck is a KAB Enterprises piece here. He and Cat Batson's truck both. As they come off the 4th turn here, Batson now close up to the back of Andrews' truck here. See how this battle shapes up here between the Chevy and the Ford. You got another Ford there behind the number 15 truck of Brad Stover in 12th position. That blue and white number 15 here. But Batson's trying to find one way around that number 40 machine. No dice for the time being here as we look at the fastest laps of the race so far. And the fastest laps so far being set by Rob Evans in the 19 truck at 111.555 miles per hour. Back top 10 trucks all over the 111 mark for their fastest laps of the race. But we got a battle for the lead developing here between Dylan Young and Phil Parker. Parker closing up to the back bumper of that number 2 truck. A pair of Chevrolets going out of here as they come off the fourth turn here. Parker, the Raging Cajun from Louisiana, and Young from the state of Florida. As we're halfway home, 30 laps in the books and 30 to go here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Nighttime short track racing in the Truck Series. Pretty tough to beat here as they come through the fourth turn here, and Young still trying to hold off Parker as they come out through turns number 1 and 2. Back bumper from Dylan Young's truck. He's running right there. If you're looking at the front end of Phil Parker's truck here, oh gosh, yeah, stalking like a panther is that number 3 Chevy Silverado. And the yellow flag is flown for the first time here today. So that's going to make this battle a little bit even more interesting between Young and Parker. And I don't know what the cause of the yellow flag was. It's the points leader, Cole Deaver. Oh no, something is wrong with the 21 truck. He is slow on pit road, 35 miles an hour on pit road. And that is a killer. And Matt Haas is another truck involved. Take a look as to what happened between the 18 and the 21 trucks. This happening on lap number 32. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, apparently Deaver misjudged Matt Haas, where Matt Haas was going, and Haas's truck got on its side against the guardrail in turn number 1. And Matt just about flipped his truck over here, but Deaver, I don't think has much damage to this number 21 Smoky Mountain Snub Chevy. At least Deaver better hope he doesn't have much damage here. As you see, Jesse Turner just about got in the back of the 18 truck of Haas as he tries to come down pit road. And same thing with Deaver as he almost got rear-ended by Laura Chung in the 51 truck. So this causing caution number 1 to fly on the 32nd lap of this race here. Deaver is back on track in 34th position. And unfortunately for the 18 of Matt Haas, he is out of the race. But we are now 1 lap from the restart here as the pace truck is now already ducked off on the pit road. Dylan Young is your leader. 2nd is Phil Parker. 3rd is Nathan Ormond. 4th is Roberto Crown Jr. 5th is Rob Evans. Again, the 21 of Cole Deaver is not on the lead lap. He is in 34th position. The green flag flies. We're back underway at Lucas Oil Raceway. And here comes Roberto Crown Jr. to the low side as he tries to get past Ormond. Ormond up on the high side, though, along with Phil Parker. And Parker's going to keep 2nd, but Ormond trying to keep 3rd. That's going to be a question mark here. And now he gets past those. Deaver sandwiches himself between Ormond and Roberto Crown Jr. And Roberto now moves to the low side here as he now gets as on the back bumper is the 19 of Rob Evans. James Sykes behind him along with Paul Minnick. And here comes Kyle Minnick. He almost went to the inside of Minnick, but saw that Minnick was still there and thought better of it as they come off turn number 4. And Nathan Hudson, and again, another one that thought he had an inside line open up, but unfortunately for him, he didn't. And they come off the turn now, and now you got trucks caught up behind Deaver in the number 21 truck here. That's Hudson and Matthews, and the 98 of Kat Batson as well too, as she's trying to catch up with her husband Keith. And Kat now squeezes between Keith and Brad Stover. And Kat saying, "Out of my way, Brad." So Keith Batson now finally has taken a Ford up to the top 10 position now as they come out the 4th corner now. As Keith now moves his way up to the 9th spot. They're trying to catch John Andrews in the 40 truck. He's in 8th position. Cat Batson now runs in 10th in that number 98 machine. And here comes Stover. Bouchard is in there. And Carson Gum in the 99 as he tries to get by both Quentin Moore and Kyle Matthews. And so much for trying to get by Matthews there, Carson. As Matthews says, excuse me there, Carson, I got a race to try to win here. Or positions to try to pick up in this case as well, too, as they come through turns 1 and 2, or turns 3 and 4, excuse me. Bouchard and Matthews now battling out. That's I believe for 12th spot. And it is for 12th. Bouchard running 12th, Matthews 13th, and Carson Gunn now is taking 14th away, and the car in the wall in turns 1 and 2. And that is Pedro Lucas in the 17 who has scraped along the wall. They tend to run that line very, very high here at Indianapolis. Here at the Indianapolis short track, as we've watched Dylan Young continue to try to hold off Phil Parker, but he's also got the 24 of Nathan Ormond right behind him there. This could be a battle for the win, 3-truck battle for the win here. As we now try to close up on the final few laps of this race, this completes at number 46. So we're down to 14 to go here at Lucas Oil Raceway. But Parker not giving up in that number 3 truck. He closed up on Dylan Young before the caution flag flew. So I'm thinking maybe fixed to find out who has got the best truck here between not only those two, but also Ormond. If he gets up close enough to Parker and Young both, which I think he's about within striking distance, but it depends on how well those 3 trucks get through this track here. And so far, those 3 trucks look pretty darn even right now. As Young continues to lead this pack of trucks here, he's still looking for that first victory in the Truck Series this season, the Pizza Hut Truck Series. So is Phil Parker and Nathan Ormond for that fact too. So as well, actually, let me correct me if I'm wrong. The top 8 trucks have not yet won this season. 2 trucks in 9th and 10th have won this season. That's Keith and Batson and his wife Kat. They both have won this season. In fact, Keith is the only 2-time winner season so far. After the 14 races we've run so far, this is the 15th. And so we have had 13 different winners in this truck series so far. And so it's been a very competitive series, no question about it. And Dylan Young looking to become the 14th different winner here today. And Phil Parker, or Nathan Ormond, one of those 3 could possibly can do it. And 8 laps to go right now. Actually, make that 10 laps to go. Excuse me. As 50 laps are in the books here, and they're averaging so far 97.372 miles per hour. But Parker is falling back a little bit here. The margin is 0.4 of a second. And Ormond 0.7 of a second behind the leaders right now. See what it is this time by. Parker, I think, close up a little bit too. Yes, he did, 37 hundredths, but Ormond dropped back to 0.8 of a second now. But those 3 have pulled away from 4th place Roberto Crown Jr., who is 2.5 seconds back of the leaders. So they got about a little bit of time between 3rd and 4th position here. Averaging laps of over 109 miles per hour here at this 5/8 mile racetrack. As they come through off turn number 4 here, the beautiful black nighttime skies at Lucas Oil Raceway. Nighttime short track racing, like I said, pretty tough to beat. But not much of a race right now here as Parker's still trying to close up a little bit here. Ormond's truck now falling back a little bit as we're now closing up on 6 laps to go. Young trying to hold them all off here as they come off the 4th turn here. Parker, I think, closed up a little bit that time by. Yes, he did. 700ths of a second was how much he closed up, though. So the margin is 37 hundredths of a second right now between the 2 and the 3. Parker driving it as hard as he can as they come out that 4th turn here. Young knows one little slip, and Parker's on his back bumper. 3,500 is the last time by, so 200's a lap though in the last 5 laps of this race, though that's not going to cut it. Off turn number 4 they come here. They're running the same tire tracks. Those two drivers running the same tire tracks as each other right now, and Parker closed up a little bit that time. Now it's down to less than 0.3 of a second between the 2 and the 3. Is Parker going to pull it off here? We'll see what happens here, as Young knows he's got to keep it smooth. Parker trying to run a slightly lower line. That's what he's trying. I think that's what he did the last time by through 3 and 4. And it worked a little bit that time. It's still closing up. 3 laps to go now. Excuse me on that one. And they're coming up on lap traffic, but will not be up. But I don't think it's going to be a factor. Oh, Parker really closing it up here as they come off the 4th turn here. 2 laps to go. Oh, I think we're fixing to find out what's going to happen here. Parker to the low side again. Here he picked a little bit on Young that time. White flag this time by. If something happens between those two trucks, Nathan Orman is running 3rd. Parker comes to the low side. He had to back off just a little bit though on Young as they come to the start-finish line. White flag waves. 1 lap remaining. Here at Lucas Oil Raceway, the margin is still the same, 18 hundredths of a second. Is Phil Parker going to make a move here through turns 3 and 4? He tried to peek to the low side a little bit through 1 and 2 that time. He comes low on Young. It's not going to happen for Phil Parker. Checker flag. Dylan Young wins at Lucas Oil Raceway. Dylan Young at the wheel of his number 2 Chevrolet gets his first victory of the season in the NNSCRA Pizza Hut Truck Series, averaging 99.176 miles per hour. But boy, Phil Parker gave him a run for it in his last 4 or 5 laps of that race here. He comes home a hard-fought 2nd. Nathan Orman with a tremendous run, finishing 3rd. 4th will go to Roberto Crown Jr. 5th will go to Rob Evans. James Sykes comes home with a nice 6th place run. 7th will go to Paul Minnick. 8th to John Andrews. 9th to Keith Batson. And Kat Batson, his wife, ends up finishing 10th. And that was a close finish between those two trucks. About 2 hundredths of a second between the 98 and the 88 trucks. So 15 races are in the books this season here, as we give you the top 10 finishers already. 11th will go to Daniel Bouchard. He moved that pretty well through the field. Brad Stover 12th. 13th to Kyle Matthews. Carson Gunn was 14th. 15th will go to William Brock. Then Zachary Fitzwater 16th. 17th to go to Matt McIntyre. Quentin Moore 18th. Vale Mosca with a solid 19th place run for that team. And Nathan Hudson will finish in 20th. Stephen Colon, Jesse Turner, Mitchell Collins, Laura Chung, Kev Shearer, Seth Cole, Scott Upton, Jacob Thibodeau, Ashlyn Boyd, and Joshua Osborne was the top 30 in this race here today. Then Diego Yepes, Pedro Lucas, and Johnny Gardner were the last of the trucks who finished on the lead lap. 33 trucks in all. Cole Deaver was the only truck who did not finish on the lead lap. He was a lap down in 21st, and that's going to hurt him in the points too, because he had a slight lead in the points coming into this event though. And I think Daniel Bouchard may have just taken the points lead possibly over on Deaver. We'll see what the points look like after this race here, as the points are distributed at the end of this video. Matt Haas was the only truck that finished out of the race. He finished this race in 35th after a crash about halfway through this race. So that will do it here today at Lucas Oil Raceway. Congratulations once again to Dylan Young, who's won here today at Lucas Oil Raceway. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got everything in this channel. We got NR races, we got gaming videos, we got NR online videos. Whatever the president of the NNSCRA, Seth Cole, desires for his channel, be sure to check out Seth's Duracell Cup Series, which is also on this channel as well too. He's the main series on his Duracell Cup Series is the main series on this channel. And also be sure to check out our other two people who does NNSCRA sanctioned offline races on their channels as well too, including our race winner Dylan Young, who does the NNSCRA Marble Studio, does the NNSCRA Spectrum Mobile Cup Series. Excuse me on that one. Wrong series I almost said too. He does the Spectrum Mobile Cup Series on his channel X8675309858X. The man who runs the Marvel Studios Cup Series is Thrash Maniac 99. That's Levi McIntyre's channel, and he is here. So be sure to check out both those channels as well too, and give those two channels a sub as well too, as well as this channel you're watching here too. So that will do it here today at Lucas Oil Raceway. Here for now, this is James Qualls. This has been a production of the NNSCRA, celebrating 10 years of offline racing at its best. We'll see you at Watkins Glen.
Rick, did you have any ignition problems?